Hello friends, my name is Dr. Rudresh Pandey. I am a professor of management at ABES Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today we are going to study sales and retail management. The topic here is sales territory. The number of sales people recruited to cover a market has a direct bearing on sales and profitability of an organization. An improper design of a sales territory may lead to higher cost of serving the customer and impact negatively on sales force. Specifically, this would result in loss of opportunity for a firm to better territory management by a competitor and poor level of forecasting per territory. An improper sales territory design also results in improper quota allocation, leading to demotivation of sales force. The designing of sales territory provides various advantages to a firm. It ensures better market coverage, effective utilization of sales force and efficient distribution of workload among sales people. So, it is very important for us to understand what sales territory is. Let us first look at what is meant by sales territory. Sales territory in a layman's term is a geographical unit, but for a salesperson, a sales territory is a group of present and potential customers assigned to either an individual or a group of salesperson, which is called a team, or a branch or a dealer or a distributor or a marketing organization for a given period of time. It is very important to understand this, a given period of time. So, wherever you see a territory, you must look at it as a group of potential customer. Now, for a firm, for an organization, what does this mean? This means a potential customers that are willing to buy the category of products sold under firm's brand name, and territories are often defined and based on geographical boundaries in many organizations. So, this is a simple definition, but this is a very important part of the sales process. Now, what are the advantages to have a territory or to manage the sales force with sales territory? The first advantage is it gives you better market coverage. The overall market is divided into segments based on their potential customer. This results in better coverage, effective utilization of sales force, because you are putting adequate number of sales force where they are required, and efficient distribution of workload among sales people. It is very important that you put equal and efficient workload for the sales people or sales personnel. Then only the results, proper results will come, then only the sales quotas will be achieved, the targets will be met. What other things this sales territory can do is, it helps in evaluating the performance of a salesperson. Salesperson's performance is the result which that salesperson is achieving. That will also depend, those results will also depend on what kind of clientage that salesperson has, in which area, geographical area that person is working, what has been happening in that geographical area in previous years. So, here you can evaluate salesperson's performance by managing the sales task by dividing sales territories. It also gives a control over cost of sales function. You can control the cost of sales function by territories. You know where more cost is required or where you need to put more cost to achieve more results. Optimal utilization of sales time is very important, because sales is nothing but optimal utilization of time. The more quality time a salesperson puts in the field with the customer will give more result. And how to manage this time, how to divide this time is dependent on territory management. This is done in a better way with sales territory. It also enhances the employee or the salesperson's morale. They can work better, they have better confidence, they are in control of the territory or the group of clients which they are handling, or the geographical location which they are handling. And this territory management or sales territory also gives a control, and it helps in monitoring the sales of an organization. So, let us go see how these territories are designed. Designing a territory is a very important and crucial part. It requires lot of skills also. What are the factors that are looked into it when the territories are designed? The first thing is selecting a geographical control unit. Control unit can be anything. It can be a warehouse, it can be the distributor point, it can be the location where company's main office is located and it has the warehouse and the distribution point also. So, it is the point from where this territory will be controlled. So, the first thing is that the control point should be selected. Then deciding on the criteria of allocation of the territory. How the territory will be allocated? This will be a geographical unit or it will be something else? For that, the criteria should be very clear, and that criteria should be decided before the territory is designed. Next thing is decide on the starting point. Generally in FMCG and other products, the physical products, the starting point is the point from where the distribution in that territory starts. Generally what happens is that there is a distribution vehicle, there is a lorry which is carrying the goods to various points of sales, various dealers and distributors, and this point, because it has to cover the market, should be located in such a way that it has the optimum effect and utilization of the resources in that territory. Combining the control and the starting point, we had a control unit where every sales people or accounts or the people who are controlling the management of that territory are there, and then there is a starting point. Starting points usually in a territory are the warehouses of the company, where the goods are stored and distributed from there. Control of this starting point is done by combining the starting point and control point. So, this is also important that you have these two locations. Generally these two locations are at the same point, but lot of times where the distribution is more huge, the number of distribution is more, then the starting point is different and the control point is different. Compare territories on workload analysis. This is very important, because one of the functions of territories is to divide the workload equally and justifiedly between all the salesperson. So, the company must look into territories on the basis of workload of the sales people. If one territory has more workload, that territory either should be divided or more salesperson should be put in. This also gives a tool of control, but in designing a sales territory, this is a very important point to be kept in mind. the workload analysis of a territory is done. Then assigning sales force to new territories. You must understand, friends, that sales territories are very dynamic in nature. Companies usually keep changing their territories, keep evolving their territories. Evolving is a better word than control. They keep evolving the territories and assigning sales force to new territories which are developed. Markets are changing, markets are growing. So, it is very important that organizations are also developing their territories. At times, potential of territories are also developed, and with this, new sales force is assigned to these new developed sales territories. Then modifying territorial boundaries to balance workload and potential, market potential. It is very important. As I told you that territories are dynamic in nature, they keep changing and they keep evolving. So, when you are designing a sales territory, you must understand that this is not a finish point, this is not an end point. When you are designing a sales territory, you must also consider the potential growth which that territory has and where that territory will be in next coming few years. Will that territory grow or will that territory require more people? So, that is modifying territorial boundaries either in geographical boundaries or in number of customers to balance the workload and the potential of territories. It is also very important to understand this potential of territories. At some point of time, few companies may not be doing very good in a very good territory where there is lot of potential, but simultaneously and slowly they try and develop those territories which are not effective for them, and when those territories are developed, the workload is divided. Now, how do this size of sales territory is decided and how you design a sales territory and put a size on it? There are number of ways in which you can calculate, you can design the size of this territory. Number one, the first thing is you have to look at nature and demand of the product. What kind of product you are selling? For example, if it is a industrial product, let us assume a machinery which is used in some industry. If you are selling that, so that nature of that product is different because it is a B2B, business to business product, it is an industrial product. Or let us assume you are selling a FMCG, fast moving consumer good product, which can be either a soap or a toiletry product. Nature of that product is different. So, a consumer product may be different from an industrial product. Industrial product has less clients, but bigger clients, whereas consumer products have small clients, but number of clients, number of users are very high. In both the cases, the size of sales territory will differ because the work potential is different with both products. So, demand of the product is the second thing which you have to look for that product in that particular territory. Here you have to see what is the demand. Is this particular geographical unit has more demand because the company has been operating there, company has been serving clients there. So, maybe a particular geographical location may have more demand for a company, whereas other geographical unit may have less demand. For example, a product which is from South India may be sold more in South India comparing to North India. So, we have to see that demand for that product was more in South India. So, the size of territory in South India may be smaller in terms of geographical units, because it has more demand, whereas where there is less demand, the territory can be larger and the workload is evenly divided between the sales people. Then next most important part is how you are distributing your products to your customers. What is the mode of distribution? Are the product coming to your retailers and taking the product themselves, or is the delivery made to the customer? Secondly, how is your distribution channel? Is it one level channel, only just one intermediary involved, or there are more than one intermediary involved? For example, lot of products are distributed by distributor network and then retailer network. Lot of times, lot of companies are doing distribution of their products directly. They have their own showrooms and they are selling their own products. So, if that kind of direct sales is there, the size of sales territory will differ in both the cases. Then next is the selling process. Selling process for different products may be different. In industrial product, the selling time is larger, the selling process is lengthier, because the ticket size or the unit cost is higher in industrial products, whereas in consumer products the ticket size or the unit cost is lower. There are more number of customers and the sales process is faster, whereas in the industrial product sales process is slower. If that is the case, where the sales process is slower, the size of sales territory will differ. Usually the size of the sales territory will be bigger where the sales process is slower. Then government regulations are very important. Lot of times there are different regulations in different states. There can be tax differences, there can be legal differences in different states. This difference can be in the districts or town and rural areas. So, companies have to look into government regulations. What are the government regulations? And depending on that regulation, size of territory is decided. Usually states are taken as a territory by companies, and these states are then divided or combined to form bigger areas of distribution and sales. Density of population is very important for the size of territory. Density of population at some places like metropolitan cities, Delhi NCR, Mumbai, Kolkata is higher, the density is higher. There are more number of clients living in a smaller area. So, the geographical size of a territory in a metropolitan city will be lesser or smaller, whereas in rural areas or in small cities where there are less number of people living, there are less number of customers, the size of the territory, the geographical size of the territory will be bigger. So, density of the population will result in more customers if the density is high, and will result in a smaller size of territory. Market growth rate is very important. Some markets, some geographical markets are growing at a higher rate. Some countries are growing at the higher rate, but in some areas, for example, demand of tractors in rural area is higher than demand of tractor in urban areas. Demand of agricultural products are higher in some particular area where the agriculture growth is fast, but in some other area where the agriculture growth is slower, the demand for agricultural products will be slower. So, the market growth rate in both these areas are different, and in this both areas the size of territory will also be different. Level of competition also decides the size of territory. If the competition is higher, if the competition is more, the size of territory may be small, because the companies have to compete more with their competitors and put in more effort. So, level of competition is one of the very crucial and important aspect in the size of territory. Then ability of the salesperson, as we have discussed that sales is a very individualistic effort also at some point of time, because the efforts of the salesperson, the skills of the salesperson, the experience of the salesperson results in better results for the organization. And if you have more able salesperson, you can give him or her a bigger territory, a more clients to handle, because that person will be efficiently handling more clients. So, these are the factors which are determining the size of the territory. Size of the territory, I would also like to discuss here the shapes of the territory, geographical shapes of the territory. Usually we have a circular territory, but circular territory is not always the case. There can be different sizes, different shapes in the territory. I will give a small example here. A circular territory is where the control unit and starting point are in the middle and the area is covered evenly. But in some areas where the population is more or the customers are not evenly divided or distributed, there can be different shapes. For example, if you are handling a service product or a product where the customers are divided in different geographical area, you will have this kind of territory and you will divide this territory according to customer, but the shape of the territory will be very different from a circular territory. Now, let us look at why companies look at new territories and how new territories are worked on. So, boundaries or territories are never constant, and factors of new territories are basically workload and sales potential. Okay. How workload and sales potential is calculated, I will tell you very quickly here. Workload in a territory is calculated by current accounts. Here by accounts we mean the number of customers that territory has, and average time service for which is needed for servicing a active account or active customer. So, if you multiply this and add the number of prospects, the potential clients, and time spent trying to cover the prospect into an active account. So, if you combine these two things, one is this and other is this, your total workload can be worked on, and this is how companies calculate their workload. Then we will look into sales potential. Sales potential of a territory is number of possible accounts, number of possible clients, and buying power of these possible clients. So, if I know that this territory has maybe 100 clients who can buy my, let us say, a industrial product, and I will also calculate their buying power. When this buying power is multiplied with number of possible or potential customer or prospects, the sales potential of territory can be worked on. So, this is very important to know what is the workload in a territory, what is the sales potential, what are the other things which are very important in deciding new territories is nature and number of customers in that territory. Then service levels, what kind of service level you need to service that sales territory. how account planning is done, how the planning for servicing the clients is done is very important. Then competition, what kind of competition is there in that, and what is the budget you have. These are the factors which decide new territories. We will now look at sales reporting and monitoring, how it is done in territory. It is very important to know how sales reporting and monitoring is done, and it is also related to territories, and this is also one of the controlling tools in sales. These days use of information technology is very prevalent or very popular in sales reporting, and this is also a tool for monitoring the performance of sales people. What are these information technology tools? These are IT enabled services. Lot of customer relationship management tools are used, lot of softwares, lot of ERP softwares are used for sales reporting. These days if you see, even if a single product is sold at a retailer level, everything is reported to the head office with the help of a ERP system which is installed in that company. Computer programs are used. Then there are lot of simulation techniques which are used in these sales reporting and knowing and monitoring these sales territories. Next is understanding the target market demographics. You have to understand what kind of customers you have in that particular area, and if you know, then sales reporting and monitoring is very simple and it is more effective. Sales and marketing alignment is very important. Generally marketing is for branding and pushing the product, whereas sales is an actual effort where your salesperson is going and meeting your distribution network and potential client. The alignment of these two activities is very important for sales reporting and monitoring, and this is a area on which companies work. Then sales territory mapping is also an important tool for sales reporting and monitoring. I will come to now sales budget. Sales budget is the estimation of sales revenue and sales overhead for a period. Okay, you must understand that sales budget is different from sales quota or sales target. It is the estimation of sales revenue and sales overhead expenses. What are the factors which are influencing the sales budget? There are internal factors, then there are external factors. What are the internal factors? Internal factors are sale trend, production capacity, seasonal fluctuation, distribution channel, sales promotion and advertisements. And what are the external factors? External factors are government policies, what kind of competition that company or that specific territory has, then change in consumer preferences. Consumer preferences are also changing over a period of time, and that is the internal factor. Lot of times companies do not have a control over consumer preferences. Consumer preferences change for various reasons, because of technological reasons, because of reasons that company has. Then technological developments are also a reason which factors in influencing the sales budget. So friends, this we are seeing is the reason for sales budget. This brings us to the end of this lecture. I hope you have liked it and understood the things which we were explained. Thank you for listening to this lecture.